Next, I'd like to introduce Rick Jarman. He's the President and Chief Executive Officer of the National Center for Manufacturing Sciences. He's also the Chairman of the Board for the National Advanced Mobility Consortium. When presidents, governors, and members of Congress want answers about manufacturing, they turn to Rick Jarman. Please welcome.
Thank you, Phil. That's very nice. Well, this is really exciting. The theme for this year's conference is Robots Transforming Lives, and that's never been truer than it is today. It's hard for me to believe that 5 years ago when we started this thing down at NCMS on the other side of town, we had 150 people. We were bursting at the seams, and luckily for us, we had a partner like the University of Michigan that could say, next year, when we doubled the growth, we could come to this facility, and it's worked out very well. On the third year, we broke the 500 mark, and we actually had that over in the big house. Now, 500 people in the big house doesn't seem like a big number these days, but when you consider the fact that we were bringing drone technology to the big house, that kind of compensated for the 500 number. And this year we're approaching 700 people for this event, which is the premier event in US Robotics Week. And it's being simulcast live on the internet. We know we get a lot of comments and these days tweets that a lot of people are watching what we're doing here in Michigan. It's very exciting. I want to thank the Ford Motor Company, who's our exclusive sponsor this year, and I also would like to acknowledge a couple of our founding partners, and their companies are here. I'm not so sure the individuals are here, but early on, when this was just a germ of an idea, Andy Dallas from Sortech and Sarah Blackmere from Pratt & Miller were with me all the way in getting this event started, so I want to acknowledge what they had done to help build this event as well. So you ask, why the National Center for Manufacturing Sciences? Why are we here? Why are we doing this? Well, it's really part of our heritage. We were formed by executive order of the President almost 30 years ago. And when the founding fathers of NCMS said, well, where should we be? There was no indecision at all. The folks in Washington said, you really need to be in Michigan because that's the heartland of manufacturing. And as Phil said, it was also known as the arsenal of democracy, a place where there was proven results during wartime and being able to get product to the front lines. But then with the expectation is that we'd be able to continue to do that. And obviously, the auto industry and a lot of other high-tech systems were evolving at that time. So it was obvious that we should be here. And we have certainly seen over the last number of years, probably 7 or 8 years, that robotics and autonomous vehicles and drone technology are having a large presence in our life. Earlier this week, we had an industry executive program up in Macomb County, and one of the things that came out of that was that we ought to bring all this talent, investment, and infrastructure together in one single national robotics center, and it should be here in Michigan because we've got all the pieces. We just need to bring it together, and that's very exciting. It's something that I believe in, and I'm going to certainly help make that happen. So the technology is, as you'll see, is evolving and evolving quickly. That's not what's slowing us down. It's a lot of the other things that slow us down in making this technology a real part of our lives. The human, the legal, the business, they're all trying mightily to catch up to this technology. Automakers are testing autonomous features and active safety programs. And in fact, data gathered recently from Google's self-driving car says that driverless cars are probably safer than cars with drivers in them. And that's kind of confirmed by the National Transportation Safety Administration that says 90% of all accidents are caused by drivers. And they feel that autonomous vehicles and intelligent vehicles will eliminate 80% of those. And when you think about it, You got a vehicle with a 360-degree scan at 30 scans a second. That's pretty tough for humans to keep up with. I mean, that eliminates the blind spot right there. And we're not alone in this world. 87 countries now have robotic and intelligent vehicle programs. So we got to be on our game. And it's not just on the ground, it's in the air too. It's in ships. And the Federal Aviation Administration has recently passed a program that said that will they'll give a certificate to allow people to test drone technology. It has to be, there's a lot of guidelines to it. It's got to be below 400 feet. It's got to be in daylight. People who fly this technology have to have pilot's license. But the fact of the matter, and they have to have a medical certification as well, you know, the technology is evolving. The Michigan State Police are here with their robot, but they're also beginning to use drones in a lot of their emergency response things. And of course, our old friends, the ice fishermen, are still using drones for their beer deliveries. So we're really, we're really excited. On the factory floor, cooperative robots are working side by side with workers. And robotic technology is also helping our surgeons do minimally invasive surgery. Humans are being augmented by robotic technology to increase endurance and make their work safer. And that's happening in the factory, but it's also happening on the battlefield. We are very close to superhuman boots on the ground when we need them. NCMS has been working with Lockheed Martin on exoskeleton, basically a suit that allows human beings to lift easily 500 pounds above their head, and using materials that are self-healing. When you combine those kinds of things with robotic technology and autonomous vehicle technology, you've got quite an event. I was talking to a friend of mine who's a producer for the WWE, and he was intrigued by that. And he says, "Man, we could put that on Worldwide Wrestling. That would be quite a contest." So, and that's actually the kind of thing that will drive down the cost. And cost is really important. Besides the exoskeleton, the country of Singapore just said this past week that the return on investment for captainless cargo ships could be based just on the fact that you could eliminate piracy on the open seas by having ships that drive themselves, and the pirates wouldn't be able to get on and take to an undisclosed location. So that's kind of interesting. For those of you that are fast food fans, you got to look at online at MomentumMachines.com. Momentum Machines is a San Francisco company that's has a machine that can replace fast food as we know it. You drive up, it's a totally automated facility. You punch in your order, your credit card, you'd still drive around to the other window and you pick up your hamburger as you ordered it, and there's no people involved. And the return on investment is really just based on the cost of labor in those environments. Look it up, it's really cool stuff. So we're getting real close to what we've always called, you know, we've talked for years about the factory of the future, and the factory of the future would have, you know, it would have a man and a dog, and the dog would be the man would be there to feed the dog, and the dog would be there to make sure the man didn't touch anything. And we're getting very close to that with our transportation. At NCMS, you know, we have this now we have this new program, this National Advanced Mobility Consortium that's working with the Department of Defense to reach out to small and medium-sized companies, companies that have never done business with the government before, that have new and innovative technology. And it was events like this that the Department of Defense said, wait a minute, you know, we put out these RFPs and we get the same people all the time with the same technology. And then they go to an event like this and they see better technology here than they were getting in their RFPs. And that's why the Army decided to go with the National Advanced Mobility Consortium as a contract vehicle. And we're reaching out, and year after year, we're now getting 40% of the winners in those proposals are coming from companies that hadn't done business with the government before. very exciting, and a lot of those are here in Michigan. We want to continue to grow that. At NCMS, our collaborative model really depends on end users, technology innovators, and technology integrators. That's the secret sauce of making collaboration work. And we're very fortunate. Of the people that are registered for this conference, 34% are education, students, talent, if you will. 22% are industry. A lot of that's infrastructure, places where we can take a lot of this technology and put it to use. And 36% of it's in R&D, more talent, and there's guys like me that are 8% of nonprofit that are trying to bring it all together. So I see a future where manufacturing is not just huge plants of assembly, but places where thousands and thousands of workers are working on advanced automation, using 3D printers, digital manufacturing technology, and the like. Autonomous connected vehicles. In the first year, we had an autonomous vehicle on display. You couldn't fit any people in it because it was so filled up with computers. Today, you're going to see from Ford a real vehicle that could be on the road very soon. So in conclusion, Michigan has an important role to play in the commercialization of robotics technology. You're going to hear about a lot of those things today, and be thinking about how you can get further involved in this.